Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes a man's silence speaks louder than any confession. When he doesn't chase, when he doesn't text, when he seems to fade into the background, don't be fooled. Because the truth is, some men don't disappear, they wait. They wait in quiet strength, hoping you'll notice the way he still shows up without words. The way his eyes still follow you when he pretends not to care. The way he stays close enough to feel your energy, but far enough to hide his heart. And if he's doing this, he's not gone. He's secretly waiting for you. When a man truly wants you, but doesn't say it out loud, you can feel it. It's in the way his eyes hold yours a little too long, the way his energy shifts when you walk into a room, the way he subtly orbits around your world without crossing the line. You might think he's being distant or that he's moved on. But sometimes silence isn't absence. It's a waiting room. A place where someone stands still because they're hoping you'll turn around and notice that they never really left. When he's secretly waiting for you, he doesn't come forward with words. He shows it through restraint, through patience, through the quiet consistency of still being there, even when he pretends not to care. That restraint is not weakness. It's the mark of a man fighting between pride and longing, between the part of him that wants to reach out and the part that whispers, if she wants me, she'll know. And that's where the real story begins. Because it's not just about what he's doing. It's about whether you can feel it, sense it, and stand strong enough not to chase it. You see, when someone waits for you in silence, it's not about passivity. It's about belief. It's about believing that something real doesn't need to be forced. That connection doesn't need to be begged for. And that's where most people lose their power. They panic. They mistake space for indifference. But the strong woman, the self-aware woman, she reads the pause. She knows the difference between someone who disappeared and someone who's standing still in quiet hope. If he's waiting for you, he won't fill your phone with messages. He won't chase validation. He'll step back to see if you'll step forward. He's not trying to manipulate you. He's trying to protect himself, because waiting in silence is a kind of courage, an act of vulnerability disguised as calm. It takes strength to hold back when every cell in your body wants to reach out. But here's the truth, whether you realize it or not, he's watching, not in a way that invades, but in a way that notices. He sees how you carry yourself when he's not around. He pays attention to the energy you give to others, to whether you're still open or already moved on. And sometimes that observation is his test, not for you, but for himself. He's asking, through, is she still the one I felt safe with? Is she still the woman who made me believe I could be more? When he waits for you, it's not just about missing you, it's about wrestling with himself. He's replaying memories, conversations, little moments that seemed ordinary but hit different in hindsight. He remembers your laughter, the kind that came from deep within, unguarded. He remembers how you listened when he didn't even know how to explain what was wrong. And he remembers how your presence grounded him when his world felt unstable. He's not waiting because he can't move on. He's waiting because deep down, something inside him whispers that it's not over. That what you shared wasn't an accident. It was alignment. Timing may have been off. Ego may have interfered. But real connection doesn't vanish when distance grows. It lingers. It stays tucked in the corners of your mind and the pauses between breaths. Now, let's be clear. Waiting doesn't make him perfect. it doesn't mean he's ready. It means he's thinking. It means he's fighting between his fear and his desire. And this is where your strength comes in. Because when someone's waiting for you, your job isn't to run back. Your job is to stay in your power, to keep growing, to keep glowing, to keep being the woman he fell for, not because you're trying to prove anything, but because you refuse to shrink while someone else figures themselves out. And that's the paradox of real attraction. It's born in energy, not effort. When you move forward without bitterness, when you stay aligned with who you are, instead of reacting to what he does or doesn't do, you ignite something in him. You remind him of what drew him in the first place, your light, your independence, your emotional intelligence. That's the version of you he's secretly hoping to reconnect with. Not the one chasing closure, but the one embodying peace. You might not see him reach out yet, but watch the signs. He'll hover at the edges of your world. A like here, a subtle message there. He'll find reasons to appear again, not because he suddenly remembered you, but because he never forgot you. And every time he tries to convince himself to move on, something in his gut pulls him back. Because connection like that doesn't fade, it humbles. If he's waiting, he's learning. He's realizing that chasing short-term distractions doesn't fill the silence you left behind. He's starting to understand that peace doesn't come from avoiding feelings, but from owning them. And that's where his transformation begins. Because when a man starts reflecting, really reflecting, he becomes dangerous in the best way. He starts to evolve. He starts to rebuild himself, not for you, but because of you. And you, on your side, must keep rising, because your strength doesn't just inspire him, it holds the mirror to what he's missing. When you stand tall, unbothered, grounded in your worth, you send a message without saying a word. I'm not waiting for you, but I'm not closing the door either. That energy is magnetic. It makes him question every decision that led to the distance. There's a reason stillness feels uncomfortable. It forces truth to surface. And the truth is, if he's waiting for you, he's already imagined what it would take to try again. He's thought about what he'd say if he had the courage. He's replayed the moments he could have handled differently. But pride is a heavy anchor, and vulnerability is terrifying. So he waits quietly, hoping you'll give him a sign that it's safe to come closer. The beautiful part. You don't need to do anything, because power isn't in chasing, it's in attracting. It's in understanding that when someone is meant for you, life has a way of realigning paths. Your only job is to stay authentic, to keep your heart open, but your boundaries strong, to forgive without inviting chaos back in. He's waiting for more than just a chance with you. He's waiting for a version of himself that can meet you where you are now. That's the secret few talk about. Waiting isn't weakness, it's transformation in disguise. It's him trying to become someone worthy of the peace you carry. And whether he ever admits it or not, your absence is what sparked that growth. So if he does this, if he holds back, stays near but not too close, watches without demanding, you'll know he's not gone. He's not indifferent. He's waiting for the right moment, for his courage, for the chance to show up differently. And when that moment comes, you won't need to ask if it's real. You'll feel it. Because when someone's been waiting for you, the energy between you shifts before a single word is spoken. You'll feel it in the way he looks at you, not with possession, but with recognition, as if he's seeing the version of you he always hoped you'd become. Not because you change for him, but because you grew for yourself. That kind of energy commands respect. It softens pride and disarms defenses. It's not loud, not performative, not desperate. It's quiet confidence. It's a calm that says, I know who I am and I know what I deserve. And when he senses that it does something to him, it challenges him, it calls him higher, because deep down, he knows you're not waiting, you're leading. That's what truly draws someone back, not nostalgia, but growth. Not the memory of who you were, but the discovery of who you've become. He starts to realize that the woman he thought he lost has become the woman he's been looking for. And that realization doesn't just stir emotion, it ignites purpose. It pushes him to face the parts of himself he's been avoiding. Because when you rise, you force others to confront whether they're rising too. When he's secretly waiting, every step you take forward adds to the quiet storm building inside him. He'll watch you start new things, see you glow differently, hear the strength in your voice when you talk about your goals. And even if he doesn't say a word, his silence will be loud, because it's no longer the silence of confusion, it's the silence of admiration mixed with regret. The silence of a man who's realizing that your distance didn't weaken him. It revealed what he was missing. But here's the truth. Most people miss waiting isn't just about hope. It's about timing. Some people need to lose proximity to gain perspective. Some people need to feel your absence to understand your worth. It's not about playing games. It's about letting space do what words can't. Because when you stop trying to convince someone of your value, you create the opportunity for them to recognize it on their own. And that kind of realization hits deeper. It stays. It changes the way they show up. If he's waiting, he's learning patience, the kind that doesn't come easy. He's realizing that true connection can't be forced into existence or rushed into clarity. It has to unfold. And sometimes that unfolding happens in silence. It happens when he's driving alone, when he passes the places you used to go, when a random song hits differently because it carries a memory he didn't know would matter so much. Those are the moments that shift him, not the big gestures, but the small realizations that love isn't always loud. Meanwhile, your role isn't to interpret his waiting, it's to live fully in your own. Because strength isn't about pretending not to care. It's about caring without losing yourself. It's about understanding that love should never cost your peace. You don't wait for someone to choose you. You choose yourself so powerfully that anyone who's meant for you finds the courage to rise to your level. That's the energy that makes people come back different. Not because you demanded it, but because your growth demanded it of them. He's waiting for a sign that you still believe in him. But the truth is, belief isn't something you give freely. It's something earned through action. You've done your part. You showed up. You cared. You were present. Now it's his turn to show that he can meet your energy, and if he truly wants to, he will. Because waiting forever is never the goal. The goal is alignment. Two people who both know what they want, standing in their truth, ready to move forward without fear. So while he waits, don't freeze your life. Move, travel, learn, build, heal. Because every time you grow, you raise the vibration of the connection itself. You don't lose him by evolving. You invite him to evolve with you. And if he can't, then waiting will teach him that hesitation has a cost. That life doesn't pause for those who are afraid to act. That the world keeps turning, and the woman he once took for granted is now a force he can't ignore. And that realization changes him. He'll start comparing every interaction to what he had with you, not out of obsession, but out of truth. He'll look for your energy in other people and realize it can't be replicated, because authenticity leaves an imprint. The way you made him feel, the way you saw him, the way you believed in his potential, it wasn't ordinary. It awakened something. And once awakened, it can't go back to sleep. But the most powerful part of all, this isn't about whether he comes back. It's about what waiting reveals about both of you. For him, it reveals desire and hesitation. For you, it reveals patience and strength. And together, it creates a test of endurance, of timing, of maturity. If what you shared was shallow, it fades. But if it was real, it will circle back, not as a repeat, but as a renewal. He's secretly waiting, but part of him is also hoping you won't wait for him. That may sound strange, but it's true. Because real love doesn't want to hold someone hostage. It wants to see them thrive. And when he sees you thriving, it gives him permission to face himself, to admit that love isn't about control, it's about courage. The courage to show up, to apologize, to rebuild, to choose again without fear. And when that courage finally arrives, it won't come with grand gestures or dramatic confessions. It'll come in simple words, steady energy, honest eyes. Because a man who's truly done waiting doesn't need to impress you. He needs to align with you. He knows that real connection isn't about what you say, it's about what you prove. Until then, remember this: stillness is not stagnation. Space is not rejection. It's the soil where clarity grows. It's where people figure out who they are without the noise of constant communication. And if someone is quietly waiting for you, it means you've already made an impact deep enough to echo in their silence. That's rare. That's powerful. That's something not even time can erase. He might not admit it, but he checks your updates. He notices when you're glowing differently. He can sense when your energy has shifted from hurt to healed. And that both terrifies and inspires him, because the woman he once knew as soft and vulnerable is now powerful and grounded. And that shift makes him realize if he wants another chance, he has to show up differently, not as someone trying to fix the past, but as someone ready to build a future. Every time he thinks of you, it's not nostalgia, it's motivation. Motivation to become the kind of man who deserves the kind of love you gave. Motivation to stop running from what he feels. Motivation to close the distance between who he was and who he's meant to be. And that's what waiting does. It transforms longing into purpose. It refines emotion into maturity. So while he waits, you rise. Because when two souls are meant to find each other again, they don't meet as they were. They meet as who they've become. And that version of you, the one who learned to let go, who found peace in uncertainty, who no longer fears silence, that's the version that changes everything. That's the woman who doesn't need validation to know her worth. That's the woman who no longer hopes for love, but attracts it through presence, through energy, through authenticity. And when he finally stands before you again, he'll know. Not because of what you say, but because of what you radiate. He'll see that you're no longer the woman waiting to be chosen. You're the woman who chooses herself. And that's when everything shifts. Because when a man's been secretly waiting for you and he finally sees you standing in your full power, something inside him wakes up. He realizes he's not waiting anymore. He's ready.